My name's Dave Dubeau, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewsyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content. Hey guys, welcome back. Today, zooming in from beautiful Pratt, Kansas, we've got Mr. Chad Pore, and Chad is definitely not a poor real estate investor. He is an active real estate investor with his dad and with his brother, and they are doing interesting things with single family homes. And I believe, Chad, you just got into your first, or you're going to be getting into your first multifamily property.
Yeah,
so you're going concern. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. So give us a little snapshot of what you, your dad, and your brother are up to. What does the real estate portfolio look like today, late 2024?
Yeah, so we actually have now, we did close on our 14-unit apartment complex here in October. So we actually have 26 rental doors. Obviously, 14 are from the apartment complex, and then we have 10 properties. 2 of those are actually duplexes, which gives us our other 12 on that. And then value of all of our rental doors right there, the appraised value of those is about $1.8 million on that. And then we have three houses that we're currently in the process of, I would say, flipping or burring. We're just kind of debates on how much money we end up spending on them, whether we end up keeping them and renting them out, or whether we actually go ahead and try and flip them there. We've got one of the 3 actually we do have listed right now for sale, so we're trying to flip it, and then the other 2 we're still in the process of working on those. So yeah, it's been fun and interesting and a lot of learning for sure.
So more or less, how long ago did you guys buy the first property?
2019. First property was 2019.
All right, very good. So you're doing a combination of long-term buy and hold. Up until now, primarily single-family homes and a couple of duplexes. Then, bang, you jumped into a much larger property, a 14-unit apartment building. So that's great. And you're also doing some more transactional type stuff with like flip type stuff as well, right?
Yeah, we just the flipping hasn't. This house we have listed right now, it's only our second one that we'll be selling. So that's something we just got into late last year as a way to try and just generate a little bit more cash now to try and do some projects with. So we're still learning it. Not sure whether we're going to stick with it or not. We're kind of seeing how these ones go.
It's a whole different kettle of fish, isn't it? It's
yes.
A whole new learning curve and a whole new business model, really. Right?
Yes. We lost money on the first one. So
you're in the construction business now. Yeah. When you're doing that. Yeah. The contract business. Okay. Very cool. So one of the things I wanted to touch base about, because in the information you said ahead of the call, is you made mention of waiting 20 years to get started. Yeah. So does that mean you started when you're 20 years old, or what does that mean exactly?
Oh yeah, no. So I'm 46 now. And so I can remember it was probably a little over 20 years. I actually remember when I was probably 18, 19, my dad had purchased the Carlton Sheets program. And
I'm very familiar with that. I probably purchased it around the same time.
Yep. And so he purchased that, and I went through that program, and man, we talked a lot about just, hey, we need to start doing real estate. And that conversation just continued. They did the house, one of the houses we grew up in. After everybody moved out, my mom and dad moved to another house, and that was the first thing. They kept it and rented it out for about 15 years, and now it's been transferred into our company. But yeah, it was just an over and over talking to, man, we need to start doing this. We need to start doing this. We need to start doing something. And we just never took the leap. There was always that fear of, can we really afford to jump into real estate and be successful, or are we going to lose our money and not have anything? And so, yeah, it's been 20 plus years that we just talk about it every year.
What was the spark that finally got you guys going?
I'm tired. I was tired of talking about it, and I've seen other people be successful in it. Yeah. We had some other family members that started doing a lot of different real estate stuff, and they were having success. And so I think just the rat race, I mean, I'm a paramedic by trade and love my profession. And, but at the end of the day, I look at retirement and things like that. And just I felt like we could do better, and so I finally got tired of it and told my dad and my brother, we've been talking about it. I'm moving forward, so you guys can either get on the bus with me and we can do it together, or I can go by myself and make that happen. Now, the interesting part of that is my wife. I love my wife to death, but my wife's comments to me were, "Do whatever you want, just don't lose all our money." So we try to stay away from doing that.
It sounds like she's been talking to Warren Buffett or something like that. Didn't he say something like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Invest
What's
in investing
amazing.
is just don't lose money.
Yeah, what's amazing is that's kind of her mentality, and she didn't want nothing to do with the business, and same thing with like my mom and my sister-in-law. But the reality is the more we've grown and the more things have happened, and it's not uncommon to find them sending us properties or them saying, "Hey, I heard about this property or that property," or "Hey, how's this one going?" And so they're seeing what we're able to do and starting to definitely kind of chip in a little bit.
Oh, that is wonderful, Chad. So it sounds like really the spark was just one of you had to kind of just snap and say enough's enough. It's time to get going. So did your dad and
Yeah.
your brother jump on board eagerly? Was it they were just kind of waiting for something like that, or was it a bit of convincing to get her?
Yeah, no, they jumped on board pretty quick. We part of the original idea was me and my brother buying my mom and dad out of their rental house so that they could have some money and then we could have the first property. And we ended up going a different route. I actually used a credit card and bought our first house for $25,000, a 4-bedroom in Pratt that we remodeled and still own today. So, but they were on board right away. It's obviously it's a challenge because we live in different areas of the
Oh,
state.
do you? Yeah.
So I live in Pratt. My dad lives in Wichita. My brother lives in Platte City, Missouri, and he drives a truck for a living. And so it's difficult. Not everybody's able to put the same amount of work in, but ultimately the goal is, hey, if we can build something that benefits all of us, in the end, that's where we want to be.
So how do you divvy up responsibilities and who does what out of this three-man crew?
Yeah, so mostly I'm the big task taker. So when we set things up and started going down the path and set up our LLC, I said, look, I'm gonna get a little bit higher percentage because I'm the one taking on some of that paperwork and stuff. And actually, out of all of our properties, all but 2 of them are either in Pratt or 20 miles south of Pratt. And so I manage most all of those, and am the one that has been responsible for a lot of that. So most of the workload has been me. My dad's been involved a lot from conversations and coming out and helping and working some when we were working on some of the properties. And the unfortunate side is my brother, he drives a truck for a living and follows concerts around. So he goes to all these, he's been on the Taylor Swift tour and all of those.
So he's the guy hauling all their equipment. Is that
Yeah, exactly. And so he does that. And so he doesn't have the time to really put in there. And so he, in the beginning, he was putting some money into it, but he's involved in the discussions. We have obviously text groups and things like that where we're always talking about what we're doing. And so everybody's got their opinion. Everybody's involved. Everybody's a piece of it. And then typically I'm the one that's executing a lot of the different stuff when we actually make it work.
Have you found many challenges working with family members?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the biggest piece, right? Like you start kind of you look at it and you think, okay, gosh, why do I feel like maybe I'm doing more of the workload, and what are you doing, or why is there?
You probably are.
Yeah. And so there's definitely its challenges. There's the challenges just from the disagreements. Disagreements with family are completely different than if you disagree with somebody else, right? Like with family, you're
dragging that into Thanksgiving, you're dragging that into Christmas, right? That's
and your conversations are different, right? Like with somebody else, you're a little bit more cordial. With family, you're a little bit more direct. And so we have our challenges with that kind of stuff, but I think the benefit that we have is it's that end goal, right? Like the ultimate goal is that all of us, that this is all we end up doing full time, and that we're not working for anybody else. And more importantly, my dad will tell you, my dad's in mid-70s, and my dad will tell you all the time, like, look, I'm not going to probably get much from this, but I can, we can build a legacy with it, and we can build generational wealth with it. And those are the things that kind of are the goal for all of us. And so I think as long as we keep our goal on that site, it makes it easier when we have some of those issues or frustrations, and we can work through them a lot better.
Yeah. Your dad wants to set you guys up for success and your kids up for success. That's his, that's what's in it for him.
Yeah.
So with that being the goal in mind to get you guys retired from the jobs and focusing on real estate full time. What's that looking like? Like you guys have, I think you said 26 units, rental units on the go right now. Where do you think you need to go? Well, so first of all, who gets retired first? Is your dad still working, and is he the one you're going to be retiring first, or are you going to be getting retired
Yeah,
first?
so his is actually a little easier. So he's been an insurance agent for, gosh, 40 some years. And so he actually is pretty much semi-retired. He still works a little bit, handles a lot of the insurance on our properties. And so there's not near as much needed to be able to retire him. And we're trying to work on that some. And then I think from there, it's my goal would be that I'm the
Yeah.
one that can do it next. I'm sure my brother's goal is that, he can do it next. Ultimately it just falls into, trying to bring enough money in that we can get one or two of us there to focus on real estate and then build it up even more from that perspective. And so,
Yeah, well, logic, like as an outside opinion, not that you've asked for it, but I'll give it anyhow,
oh,
Chad.
absolutely.
Yeah, I would say retire you first, right? Because
Yeah.
you're the most active person in the business. You're managing the stuff. If you could focus on real estate full time, because you're the engine, it'll benefit everybody because you'll just be able to
Yeah.
do so much more, so much faster.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's what we've talked a little bit about right there is if we can get it to that point and go to where, there's full time and I can make that happen, then we're going to be able to grow it exponentially on that
Almost
end of
definitely.
it. So,
So it sounds like you guys have been dabbling in the flipping business to do what a lot of people want to do, which is, flip a few houses, make a big chunk of cash, go buy another apartment building, flip a few houses, make a big chunk of cash, go buy another apartment building, that sort of thing. Um, what have been some of your takeaways from the process so far? Is it looking like that's going to work according to plan, or are you open to other ideas?
yeah, we're open to other ideas. So I tell people all the time, the thing that I love and the thing that I hate about real estate is that there's so many different ways to be successful.
Yeah.
And that's the challenge for us. Like I'm a guy that squirrels distract me really easily. So I'm a guy that could be looking down one path and then all of a sudden I hear something else and I'm like, oh wow, we need to start thinking about that. So we're definitely open to other ideas. I think we've realized that we got to figure out how to start tapping into private funds, doing more joint ventures to grow bigger. We have realized that we've realized flipping is a completely different business than even burning and managing, a rental property. They're two completely different things, and so there are challenges to it. But I think the thing that we've probably realized over the last couple of years is that even single family homes may not get us where we want to be quick enough.
Yeah.
And so we're kind of leaning more towards that multifamily and larger multifamily path. For us, as we look at it, you're thinking, hey, we need 100 doors to be able to get one of us retired potentially for a while. Well, it's a lot easier when you can buy an apartment complex with 14 doors and manage it
Yeah.
versus 14 single family homes. So
Oh, most definitely.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're still trying to figure out what that path is we want to go down that's going to actually to make it work. And so we've dabbled in a few of them and we're always looking for ideas or other opportunities.
Yeah. So what I've seen a lot of people do in a similar situation, Chad, is, especially if you don't really enjoy the flipping, if you're not contractors by trade, if it's not in your wheelhouse and that's not what you're keen on,
Yeah.
scrap it. Like it's just a whole other business. It's a whole other headache dealing with contractors, supply, all that stuff that you already know, right? So
Yeah.
the joint venture route can be a really good way to go, especially now because you guys have a track record, right? You're not brand new. You've got proof of concept. You're making money.
Yeah.
So the beautiful thing is you can bring on a joint venture partner or two who bring in all of the money for the next deal. And yes, you do have to share ownership in the property, probably 50-50 with your joint venture partner, at least for the first few deals. But think about this. If you own 50% of another 14 unit apartment complex with zero of your money and zero of your credit in the deal, that's pretty good, isn't it? If you're
Oh,
50%,
absolutely.
yeah. So that's the challenge that a lot of people have is they think we get greedy. I know I did back in the days. Like I want to
Yeah.
own it all, right? But owning all of just a little tiny bit is not as attractive as owning half of a lot more, right? I'd rather own half of 200 units than 100% of 14 units, if that
Yeah,
makes sense.
exactly.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the path that might make sense for you guys is focus on the small multifamilies, and the 14 unit is still small, right? You're not into
Yes.
150 unit apartment buildings, right? You're in that 8 to 16, 8 to 20 unit, 6 to, commercial residential, but smaller commercial residential type stuff. And then just really dial it in with bringing on joint venture partners who love the idea of investing in real estate, but hate the idea of dealing with toilets and tenants.
Yes.
And you're happy with doing that, right? Or you know
Yeah.
what to do with that. That's kind of a marriage made in heaven. It's a win-win-win situation, right? You guys win because you can grow the portfolio so much faster. You
Yeah.
win because that's going to lead to you being able to quit the JOB faster. And your joint venture partners win because they get all the benefits of being real estate investors without any of the pain in the butt because you guys
Yes.
take care of that. What
Yeah,
do you think about that?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's kind of our goal. I think that's where we
Yeah.
want to be. And I think that's kind of the path. And we thought the flipping thing might be a way to generate some money to be able to do a little bit more of that. And what you said, I mean, Pratt, Kansas doesn't have a ton of contractors running around. So I'll have a house that might sit for 6 months waiting for us to get somebody to work on it. And so at that point, you're just losing money and not making it up. So that's kind of the path we've been talking about and trying to figure out a little bit more of and get it squared away.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that'll make a huge difference for you. Chad, hey, time flies when we're having fun. If people are listening to this and they like to connect with you, if you could only give them one place to go to connect with Chad Pore, where would that be?
I would probably say Facebook. That's probably where apparently that makes me old according to my kids, but that's the one place that I'm active in. And so it's just at Chad Pore on Facebook and pretty easy to find.
Awesome, Chad. Well, hey, congratulations on what you, your dad, and your brother have done. It might have taken you 20 years, but you took massive action once you got going.
Yeah.
So hats off to you. And I think you guys are going to be doing great things in the future.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. It was really fun.
All right, everybody, take care. We'll see you on the next one. Hey there. I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewyou.com. Now, at moneypartnerformula.com, we help real estate investors to create a process for predictably getting capital so they can do more deals without relying on hard money lenders or the banks. We do this by building them a private capital marketing system. Now, if you want help turning yourself into a big money capital attraction machine, then book a call with our team to see how we can help. Just visit moneypartnerformula.com to find out more. All right, take care, and we'll see you on the next interview.